Hello, yes, I am currently tired, man. How are you doing? I am sleepy. Let's see, these are pointless. Where are we going? What are we doing? What were we up to? Actually, seriously, what were... Oh! Go to all these locations, then go from there. Okay. Well, in the meantime, I guess I will screw around a little bit. Oh, that ain't functional. I guess I might as well go catch some fish. This is weird. Shell is grabbing water, and I am super freaking bushed because that's how this works. Every time I work out, I get tired. That's normal. It's just I never would have expected doing exercise on stream. Kind of in the middle of my streams too. But at the same time, it is actually kind of nice in a way, because it really does prep me for playing JRPGs at night. Let's see, Juan, do you have a pony? I do have a pony! And the pony shows up after a certain point, and just becomes pony friend. Thank you. You know, maybe I didn't need the pajama pants after all. I certainly don't need the blanket on me. Ooh, boy. Fitness makes me toasty. Way toastier than I was expecting. But yeah, the pony shows up, around chapter 4 or 5? Towards the end of it? Unless there's something else that specifically gets it to spawn, but I don't really know. Okay, it is full.
It is full.
Oh, I know where I needed to go.
Where did you need to go? What does Poonie friend do? We feed Poonie, and then he wanders off into the woods and comes back with materials. And he also changes different colors depending on what you feed him.
Yep. And there's different varieties of Poonie, but after you feed him 6 times, he bails, and then comes back with some high-end resources.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Yeah, we're just gonna wreck him. Let's see. Didn't see the start of this Ryza session. Did you miss anything?
Nope, we
that
just
is
started.
in fact false. You have seen the start of the Ryza session, as it just started. You're on time. I am chocolate. Oh. Wow. We didn't even get to tactics level up. Honestly, I feel kind of bad for that little bugger. Anyway, I'm gonna smack this Poonie around a couple of times and then we'll get out and do plot stuff.
Mm-hmm. Because I'm looking forward to seeing the tower. That's the tower that Lent and his father had been referring to.
We should probably make it there tonight.
Mm-hmm.
We might be a bit overpowered.
You know, seeing Lent's outfit, he has the butt pockets that you would find on jeans and such.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering when the first instance of butt pockets ever occurred in fashion.
That's an interesting question. Ow. Oh, hey, Raisa.
Ah, Lent! Did you and your dad get in a fight again?
Huh? Oh, hey, don't even worry about it. I've been taking on monsters every chance I get. So I've been able to keep up with him lately. He started getting kind of weird about it, actually.
Weird? What do you mean?
Just weird. Like, he hasn't been quite as aggressive as usual.
Like he might be a little afraid of you?
Nah, that salty bastard isn't afraid of anything. But I have left the island and defeated a dragon. I'm sure he's heard the rumors, so he probably doesn't know how to react. Meanwhile, I'm getting stronger.
Okay, so we're starting to get some follow-ups regarding
Yeah,
his
Raisin,
story.
Bowden, and Valence. Oh boy, planking really did take it out of me.
Huh? Is that Lent and Boss? And they're not fighting. Hey, you guys!
Ryza! Yo!
It's strange seeing you two together. What are you up to?
We're, just talking. And... I know, stop yelling.
What? Are you two having secret meetings now or something?
I have to go. Oh, and I asked my father to look into where the orb came from. I'll let you know what I find out.
Oh, right. Thanks.
What's up, Ryza? You look disappointed.
No, it's just... I kind of miss the way that we used to fight all the time. But I guess I like this better.
Yeah, for sure.
So, what were you two talking about?
Sorry, I can't tell you. We made a promise, man to man.
Okay. That's kind of weird, but I guess it's okay.
They were trying to decide who gets her heart.
Oh no! What's wrong with Barbara? Barbara, you look kind of bummed out. Oh, hello, Raisa. Well, it's about that flower I told you about before. Oh? Yeah? What happened? I was able to find a traveling merchant who recognized the description. But even though the shape and color were the same, she said it didn't have a fragrance like I remembered. So it looked the same, but it didn't have a smell. After you and Claudia helped me out so much, I'm sorry this is how it ended up. I see. Well, maybe I'll go look for it myself. I'll let you know if I find anything. Maybe there's a particular variety that smells. I said I'd look for it, but I kind of forgot I don't really know anything about flowers. Although, Claudia already described how it looks, so all that's left is the smell. A flower that looks the same, but smells different. Okay. So, I wonder if it will be with the garden guardians or something.
Maybe. Oh. Is it over here? No. I'm lost, but that's okay. I guess let's just go to the old town. Hey, Wonder and Shell, I've been watching you on YouTube ever since you played Superliminal. Great fan since then. Watched your Indivisible series and I'm watching Fire Emblem Three Houses. Loving it all. Yeah, Fire Emblem was good.
We still need to finish Indivisible.
We still gotta go back and... Because there were the side quests and that ending. Boy.
There are some instances in games where we get to the ending, but then the ending requires you to grind or do a number of side quests.
I'm in the same place with Yaga
it.
and I just don't want to deal with it. It's bad.
Because that was what happened with us with Recore, remember? Except that was finding all the little collectibles in the environment.
Yeah, Recore was stupid. It was like getting to Gruntilda and being like, you need the
Oh, but that's what happened.
All of the Jiggies. Did you need all of the Jiggies?
You didn't need all the Jiggies, but I think you needed the majority of them. So, yeah, my brother and I had to struggle to get another 10 Jiggies or so to probably get to Gruntilda. But that one needed you to get everything? To get up the tower.
Huh.
Right?
Maybe it was just easier to get the Jiggies in... I guess it would be like, Because you certainly didn't need all of the shines in Super Mario Sunshine. You only needed so much.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with Super Mario Galaxy.
Yeah.
There was like... same thing with Super Mario Odyssey. You only needed like a small fraction of the amount of like power moons to get to the end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's just an impediment that sometimes derails a game.
Yep.
But hopefully we'll get through them. We're hoping to use the slow period after this month to hopefully catch up.
Yep.
Pat! Oh, sorry.
Yeah. No, it's fine.
Pat!
Hey, Ryza, you doing good today?
Of course. How about you?
Same as ever. I've just been doing some farm work and decided to take a little break. You know, it used to be people would pass by here all the time and chat. Seems like there's less people here every day. So I'm glad you can make time to stop and talk.
Oh, the Rolf?
Oh, hey, Ryza and Pat. Now, this is a rare combination. Oh, Rolf.
Oh, Rolf.
That guy. Oh, the
Is-
handyman.
Mm-hmm.
So, let's try that again.
Is
Oh,
he going to help with the dyeing?
Yeah. Hey, Ryza and Pat. Now, that's a rare combination.
Hi there, Rolf. You're on business?
Yep, just doing my daily water deliveries. Just a few more left, and then I'm free.
Boy, you haven't changed at all.
Anyway, if you got any odd jobs that need doing, just let me know.
Jobs. Oh, I do know of one job.
Oh, yeah?
You can help out Pat with his dye house.
What?
Pat said he'd be able to reopen his dye house if he had an apprentice to help out.
Oh, no, that's over and done with, even if I took on an apprentice now. Dying, huh? That sounds pretty cool. Sure, I'll give it a shot. No, really, I gave it up a long time ago. All my equipment's rusted out and... Oh, I'm sure I can fix that. Come on, let's take a look at it. You got time right now? Well, but... I don't know the first thing about dyeing, but I grew up wearing the clothes you made. Come on, let me take a little peek, please. Let me into your house. Now, just hold on.
I'll be looking forward to your new clothing line. I really hope he's able to reopen his dye house again. Wait, Rolf, what about your other customers? Who's gonna get that water to...
Eh. Oh yeah, that stuff we blew up earlier is just actually gone.
Nice.
Nice.
Except there's still rubble everywhere.
Yeah. I'm very glad we decided to do this instead of Darksiders. I know we need to play Darksiders, but...
This is a pleasant game.
Well, my arms are tired. Let's put it that way. My arms are so stupidly tired. And that's okay.
Oh, Daniel, you're back.
Yeah, I didn't expect to run into you here. Hey, thanks for all your support during my travels.
Daniel, you don't look so good.
Huh? Oh yeah, I broke my favorite harmonica, and it's got me feeling pretty upset.
A harmonica? I guess they can be pretty hard to fix, huh? Didn't you just make a harmonica?
Yeah, they are. I need to see if I can find someone who knows a lot about instruments.
Actually, I think my friend Claudia might be able to help with that.
Claudia, you mean Mr. Valence's daughter?
Yeah, that's her. Come on, let's go talk to her. And so, we thought we'd come to ask you. A harmonica, huh? I do know of one music shop in a city I used to live in. I could introduce you to them. That's perfect. See, Daniel? I bet you can get it fixed there.
Yeah, I'd really appreciate it if you could introduce me.
Here's your letter of... oh, sorry. Wrong voice. Here's your letter of introduction.
Thank you so much.
Oh, and I'm going to make you a little self-defense item for the trip.
Really, you are too kind.
Not at all. I'll bring it to you when I'm done, so don't leave before it's ready. And thanks a bunch, Claudia. Be safe, Daniel.
I will, thanks. I'll be waiting at the usual spot. Hey, and we're at the Valence residence.
Poison smoke, so she's just going to give him a smoke bomb to go... Oh, right. Ooh. Handheld warheads. What are... Or are you... What are those that have conversation marks? Or are those
These are
just...
books.
Books. The Book of Storms. Ooh. Oh, I want to read some of the item descriptions.
Oh, sorry.
Especially for the books.
Oh, this is just like armor.
Mm-hmm.
I think. Eh.
Well, we got everything.
Yeah, I mean, we got plenty
He
of gold
must be
coins.
swimming in coins at this point.
300 guides? Items?
Nah, you see, I think they're done for. Unless you read them. Back at the atelier.
Well, we will, but...
But once you read them, you won't actually be able to see them again.
I'm sorry about that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we can always go back. Wait. Oh, here they are.
Oh. Can you go to the thing of storms? To the right? Oh.
Yeah, it just tells us how to make these
They had a
things.
little bit of lore with them when they were in his inventory, though.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I mean, they're still there. I think we have to leave and then come back. Where's the exit? There we go. You live in a hostel and your internet here is trash. Now they fixed it so you can watch it live. The time is a problem since you live in India. Huh, welcome. And that sounds like a complication. Thank you for the support. Actually, I haven't heard of a whole lot of people living in hostels, but I guess it's a...
I mean, we spent an itty bit of time in a hostel when we were on our study abroad, but it was only for a night.
Well, when I was in San Francisco doing that working interview and stuff, I spent half that trip, actually a third of that trip, in a hostel. Which actually wasn't too expensive. I think it was like 20 bucks a night. I guess if you factor that in compared to rent, that would have been kind of expensive, except for the fact that this was in San Francisco. Like, if I just lived there for however long, yeah, that would have been a really cheap place to like, stay in the heart of San Francisco. Would have not been very fun, because I would have been able to own anything, but still.
California's prices are ridiculous,
They
and
are.
a lot of major cities are starting to go that way. Ah, that was so good! Well, I better get going. My dad wants me to help with some farm work.
What?
Ryza, can I ask you something? Huh? Sure. Ask away. It's about my flute. Huh? Oh, yeah. You seem way more relaxed when you play these days. I'm glad to see it. Thank you, but I still haven't told my father. Wow, really? So he doesn't even know you play at all? That's right. I'm impressed that you've been able to hide it for so long, to be honest. If you don't mind, can I ask why you've worked so hard to hide it from him? Well, to be totally honest, I don't think that he would actually care, but I still haven't told him. So, how come? My mother had a weak constitution. She was being treated in another town, and I was staying with her. She taught me the basics of playing the flute. I was terrible at it, but I thought it was fun. After a few years, Father came to see us. I put on a recital, just for the two of them. Wow, I had no idea merchants had to be away from their families for so long. Yes, well, later, I decided I wanted to travel with my father, so I left my mother's side. When we first started traveling together, I practiced my flute without hiding it. But whenever my father would watch me play, this sad expression would come over him. Huh? How come? My guess is it reminded him of that recital, which reminded him of my mother's absence. Once I realized that, I couldn't bear to play the flute in front of him anymore. Oh. So I started practicing alone, out of his sight. And then it was here where... This is where we met. That's right. We spent so much time together. And when I played that night in the underworld, I realized my music can bring comfort to others. And one day, I'd like to use it to rid my father of his sadness. So, that's your dream, huh? Well, you have my full support. What are you reading, Tao?
Oh, hold on a sec. So the rites of passage are okay and done. Sorry, I've been organizing my family's books. I'm finally starting to understand them.
Oh, yeah? Have you learned anything interesting?
Well, it looks like my ancestors played a role in some kind of ceremony.
Huh? You mean like the Harvest Festival?
I'm not sure. They don't talk about festivals. It's mostly about maintaining and repairing ceremony altars.
It sounds like some kind of old school handyman.
No, you have no idea how satisfying this kind of mental exercise can be, huh?
Sorry, but so did the Clink Kingdom have their own gods and festivals and stuff?
Well, like I said, they didn't really talk about festivals, but there's a lot about methods and procedures. Like, it's really detailed about how to give and follow instructions. I figure if I master that, it'll be a big help.
I guess understanding these old books is about more than just translation. Sounds tough.
Handheld warheads, bubble bullets, healing ball, fantasy cloth, mystic robe, book of storms, bolt wind earring. I am a human disaster.
I've been wondering. That's about 5 times now?
Yeah.
Wander is Flatulence incarnate.
I am not in a good place right now. Ooh, taboo drop.
A taboo drop?
Dark and spoopy. Oh. I think just exercise in general, especially to the extent of today, definitely kicked my ass. But it's good. I don't know. We've definitely been sitting around on our butts a little bit too much lately. Holy true. Oh no. Well, whatever.
The holy tree leaf? Ah, but you have insufficient materials for everything else.
Yeah. I'm gonna buff it up a little bit more. That didn't work. Oh, because it's red. Hmm?
Last man saying that they farted so bad once the dog left the room. Oh man. Usually it's the dog that farts and everyone else leaves the room. Wander, wasn't there a pug?
Yep.
That one of your friends had?
My brother's friend's stupid goddamn pug. It was kind of a quiet little bugger, which is fine. Except for the fact that it was also a farty little bugger. Which meant it would sneak into rooms.
Oh, right.
Where we all were hanging out. And it would sit in there, hiding, and farting.
Didn't it sit under your gaming table
Yeah,
sometimes, too?
It farted so much that it ruined the poker table.
Wait. How did it ruin the table? Did it just...
Stank.
Even when the dog wasn't present?
Yeah.
How did... What was underneath it? What was it comprised of?
It was just a lot of cloth.
It was just cloth and wood?
Yeah. And apparently it was just where the dog would hang out and fart. And so, like, the...
Eventually the floor just absorbed
I think it was more of an issue of the,
They were probably feeding it something, but then again, it wouldn't surprise me if dogs like that didn't have intestinal issues on top of their cardiovascular and vascular issues.
Did you ever have those teachers that would say, like, you can't leave class no matter the reason?
Oh, well, I have okay, so people are talking about fumigation and stuff?
Oh, yeah, this is a good one.
Okay, so at our school, you had the option to, if you didn't want to take health and economics during the school year, you could take time out of your summer to do a little summer school so that you would have more free periods during the year. And I often relied on free periods back in high school to complete, say, my math homework. Obviously, things like writing assignments and such I do at home. But if I could get math out of the way, then I wouldn't have to worry about all that excess homework coming home. So I thought to myself, yeah, I would like some extra free periods during the school year. I'm going to take the summer school class. And so a lot of people were doing the same thing. And we went to a completely different school district for our classes, and a completely different school that I had never been in before. But, you know, my classmates and I were in a new classroom. They had specific... I think our teacher was from the inner city. She was actually really cool. She let me borrow her entire series of Firefly on DVD at one point. She was one of those really cool teachers that was a nerd. It was a lot of fun.
A nerd.
A nerd.
You said dird.
A nerd?
You said
Nerd.
a dird.
Sorry, a nerd. Yeah, so that's how I got introduced to Firefly. Because I'd always seen Serenity hanging out at FYE, and I was like, but I should probably see the television series that came before Serenity before I actually... You get the point. But in any case, so she was the head of our health class, and we were set up in a science room, and this classroom was going to be our room for the whole summer. It's like, okay. So we started off in the class, and this was the first day of class. It was the summer, so yes, it was warm. They had air conditioning units by the window and such. Things were a fine temperature, maybe a tad toasty. But midway through the class, some people started feeling really ill. One girl had to go out into the hallway, a couple people had to go out for pit stops to take a drink or something. But as the class progressed, should I finish the story?
Yeah.
As the class progressed, I started seeing colors flash before my eyes. She was wearing this bright abstract shirt with all of these squares on it, and they started flickering in and out different colors, and I was worried that I was going to pass out then and there. If you have ever nearly passed out before, you suddenly start getting heat creeping up your neck and around your ears and such, and your vision starts to go. And I've never actually passed out in full before, but that was probably the closest that I had ever been to passing out. And so I was feeling that way, but I was pulling through. I wasn't going to go out in the hall and admit defeat. But it was the weirdest thing. I thought that maybe the heat was getting to me. But then, suddenly the next table over, a kid falls over and starts spasming on the floor. And so at that point, everyone was told to exit the room because he was having a seizure. And so we were all vacated into the hallway. Paramedics came to help the kid out. And we were told, let's go to a different classroom and resume the class. So we did that, and sure enough, the next time that we were supposed to go to class, we discovered that in the back of the room, hidden away, was an undiscarded fetal pig from the science classes that had happened months prior. Usually you would conduct your fetal pig what would they would be? Dissections at the end of the year. So the previous class that had existed in that room, I suppose they had left one or two fetal pigs somewhere that weren't being refrigerated, weren't being preserved properly, and this had been vacated for the summer so that the summer school classes could go on. So, yeah, several kids in the class were getting sick, including myself to an extent, but really this one kid that had fallen over and actually had a seizure, it was because of the formaldehyde and the gases that were coming from it. And sure, the science room had a slightly chemical smell, but we would have anticipated it's just normal for a science classroom, but yep. Needless to say, we had a different classroom for the rest of the school year. And that is my story about fumigating people out of a room. But in any case, back to the game.
Well, I had prefaced that question because I sort of had a story.
Oh, really?
Mine was quick. I once had a teacher who wouldn't let anybody go out for any reason other than a medical emergency.
Mm-hmm.
Or, some perceived... Like, if you didn't go to the bathroom beforehand, like before class, between...
Oh.
Then clearly you could hold it in for the whole class.
And classes were 40 minutes long, typically. Or an hour and a half. It depended on if you had a short period or a long period.
So my school had switched over to the hour and 15 period.
We had a combination. It depended on the class. Art periods, music periods,
oh no,
and
my art
short.
periods were double length, so I had 2.5 hour long art classes. They were lovely.
Wow, only our core classes history, math.
I would double up on
were
those.
long.
There were certain days where I wouldn't leave the art room. It was so nice. It's a shame that I sucked at art at the time because I really could have used that for
then
something.
what happened to the poor kids that were squirming in their seats
Well,
needing to go to the
one
bathroom?
guy had a serious gastrointestinal issue and hadn't gone to the doctor to like get a note. You know, he knew what the problem was. He was taking medicine for it, but he didn't have a doctor's note because, you know, no one's going to be a poop Nazi except for Professor Poop Nazi. And so the guy raised his hand. It's like, yeah, you know, I'm sick. I need to go to the bathroom on the regular.
Oh, yeah, and sometimes if you need to go number 2, it hurts.
Yeah.
And you need to go.
Well, so this guy didn't need to poop.
Okay.
This guy needed to fart.
He just needed to release
Off gas.
Yeah.
And, like, you could hear his stomach going if you were sitting near him.
Mm-hmm.
Because whatever it was not good. Raised his hand. You know, I'm sick. It's fine. I'm not contagious or anything. I just need to go to the bathroom. No. I'm sorry. I'll show you my medicine. Like, I'm legitimate. No. You know, you sit down. We're learning calculus. If you needed to go, you should have gone before class.
But sometimes
that's not how this works. Like,
sometimes you have to scurry halfway across the school.
This is the same teacher that gave me a D because I drew 4s wrong and had his, like, special ed students grade tests occasionally.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he straight up would ask them, it's like, does this look like a 4? And they'd be like, nah. Like, straight up, for that test, I was there, I was contesting my score, he hands it to one of his special ed students, is like, hey, does this look like a 4? Nah. Like, the kid didn't even look. He hands it back to me and see, there you go. Anyway, so Professor Poop Nazi, he was such an awful dude. And he just says, no, you hold it in. The guy's like, I can't. Well then, guess that's your problem then.
The student is like, became everyone's problem.
That's everyone's problem. I don't know what the kid had said, but it was something to the extent of, you know, I disagree. And then farted for like a minute straight, multiple times over the course of the class. And
so it was like one of those.
Yeah, it was super audible too. And the guy looked really embarrassed at first, but all of us were just like, I mean, obviously we backed away because it was awful
to the
rancid.
fact that he wasn't
but like,
let out.
Nobody judged this kid for this because everybody hated this teacher. He was awful. And after that, he still wouldn't let anybody go to the bathroom because, good lord, that man's pride was bigger than anything else. Which is so
because
shitty.
Because to acquiesce and let the kid go,
that kid was the exception.
Mm-hmm.
Mainly because the kid got a doctor's note because... Or not even a doctor's note. I think the principal got involved and yelled at the professor. And I don't know. One way or another, it was dumb and still kind of pisses me off. I hated that teacher so much because I finally had I was finally enjoying math again because freshman year math was nothing but geometry and proofs, and I hate proofs because it's math, but math without like actual.
How much of this episode's going to be class stories?
Fumigation stories? A lot. Anyway, I'll let you talk and we can keep going.
Hello? Wow, you two look so serious. What's going on?
We were just discussing possibly flooding the sunken mine to trap the Fallujah inside.
But we decided that unless we fully explore all the waterways beginning to end, we can't do anything.
Flooding one area might just open another path somewhere else, so it would be pointless.
I've been wondering, why did the water level here drop so suddenly anyway?
It's connected to everything else.
It is?
The tide turned, allowing the sea monster to arrive and destroying the fish population. The tides must have also dropped the water level and caused the runes to collapse, activating the gate.
And the open gate let the Fallujah come crawling out, which caused the castle to summon the dragon.
Exactly. Logically, if all of these events flow from the root cause of the change in the lake's tides.
But then, why did that happen? There must be something bigger at play.
I'm glad to see you come to that conclusion without my guidance. I have no doubt you're right. You totally guided her, sort of. Understanding cause and effect is a key skill for every alchemist. It seems you've nearly reached my level.
Oh, hey, come on. You don't have to flatter me so much.
There's no need for false modesty. You still have so much to learn, and it's your responsibility alone to do so. Depending on where this ancient artifact came from, this could become a dangerous adventure indeed.
So you're saying I need to improve my alchemy so I'm better prepared for adventure? Okay, will do. Ryza, do you have a moment?
I'm having trouble keeping my arms on my lap. Can you, like, put the blanket between us so I have two armrests?
Okay.
Because that actually would make a huge difference.
Yeah, I've noticed that every time Ryza and Empel excitedly talk to one another, Lila always crosses her arms, puts a hand on her chin, and goes, afterwards. So maybe this is finally going to be the...
Where we give him a mecha arm?
I think this is when she finally expresses her concern.
Please
or
give him a cybernetic
a
body.
request. I have a request for you. Oh, you need something synthesized? Yes, I've written it down for you. Lila, this is... I found it in the ruins of a medical facility. I believe this tool can help augment...
Wait, I was joking.
Well...
I thought we were just going to heal his arm with, like, a potion. I think we're giving him a mecha arm.
Well... A tool that can augment his injured arm. Yeah, maybe he is going to get a mecha arm. We'll see. Oh, a tool that can augment his Empel's injured arm. It was common among Clint generals and aristocrats. I've been waiting to find someone capable of making it. I think I can do this. Oh, but I don't think I can get everything I need here. You can tell that easily which materials are rare, eh? Your ability as an alchemist really has improved. You're right, of course. This synthesis requires some extremely rare materials. In fact, I've never encountered them in this world. I fear they may not even exist. Which means I won't be able to synthesize it. What about the bottle worlds? I thought as much, but I believe there may be a way. The gathering synthesizer. Oh, that's right! You can create a whole other world there, which may allow you to find the materials you need. I realize there's no guarantee, but considering the circumstances, I'd say it's worth a shot. Alright, I'll give it a try, but... I really do think I can do this. But when it comes to Empel, don't you think he'll be reluctant to use alchemy from Clint Kingdom? Or using the alchemy from Clint Kingdom? Very well observed. Perhaps. But don't worry about that. I'll convince him, no matter what it takes. As an alchemist, naturally the crimes committed by the Clint Kingdom alchemists sadden and horrify him. I think I understand how he feels. I'm sure you do. You said yourself, as a fellow alchemist, you can't ignore what the Clint Kingdom did. You stated your feelings very clearly, which are simply another expression of how Empel feels. Ryza, I've been waiting for someone like you. Someone equal to his talent, who can express yourself directly. Lila! Okay, I'll do whatever I can to help. Thank you. I've watched him bear this burden for too long. I must find a way to help him.
If we're suggesting naming this the episode with all the farts. You know, if I remember, it will be. If I truly remember, it'll be just titled Automail Farts. But, or Heavy Metal Farts. Or Full Metal Farts. Oh, Full Metal Farts would be a good one. Can somebody, send me a message on that one?
Full Metal Farts?
Yeah, Full Metal Farts. I'll try and remember.
I mean, obviously Full Metal for
Full Metal Flatulence.
Alchemist.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Flatulence.
That's even
too.
better.
Well, because Flatulence is the technical term for a fart.
Just post it in Discord. I don't even care where. If people don't get it, that's their own fault. Let's see.
That's because they haven't been watching Ryza. Well, we haven't put episodes up of it on YouTube yet.
Yeah, but the streams are still there. Wait, can I just make this? What bull nonsense is this? These resources don't exist in the world.
What?
Yeah, here we go.
Prosthetic arm. Wow, it looks nice.
Okay, it's slightly less Fullmetal, but that's okay.
It's more like a light filigree.
Yeah.
It's more of an exoskeleton. A fancy gauntlet. But hey, it works.
Well, that was easy.
Right, so do we go to Lila? Or Empel?
Empel, where'd go? Empel got no arm. Or give to Lila.
So, Empel, how did you and Lila meet?
Huh? Oh, it was so long ago. I was just exploring some ruins and we happened to run into each other.
It wasn't some big dramatic moment. We met by complete coincidence.
Well, let's be honest now. You were bloodied and injured and you leapt right at me.
I was just a little excited. After all, I just wandered through a gate into an alien land.
Wow. Anyway, I sealed the gate and we decided to travel together, undoing the Clink Kingdom's awful legacy.
You make it sound so noble. We spent... Sorry, my throat really needs more water. We did a video game earlier today where it was nothing but crazy voices for a bunch of animal characters.
Frog Detective 2.
And it was a little hard on my voice. You make it sound so noble. We spent 2 weeks researching the underworld and the gate.
Obviously, researching the thing I'm trying to seal is one of my responsibilities as an alchemist. I see.
After we left, I had to defeat enemy after powerful enemy to keep the weakling Empel safe.
Now you're embellishing. We only got into trouble when your lack of common sense dragged us into it.
Naturally, it took some time for a noble White Fang warrior to grow accustomed to this world.
So fighting that drunk with bad breath or attacking that orchard owner was just growing pains.
What about when you blew up the bureaucrat's safe and got yourself hurt? Is that any better?
It sounds like you're both to blame. Maybe that's why they work so well together.
Yeah, that must be why they get along so well. I don't doubt that for a second. Aww.
What? But arm!
Yep, well, we got it. Wait, is his cloak even around his shoulders? It
Nope,
looks like
not
it should
really.
be falling off.
I think it should be.
Empel, I have something for you. Here.
This is...
That's right. I gave Ryza the recipe and asked her to make it.
If I recall, I burned that recipe the day we found it.
I made a copy of it. I've been holding on to it, waiting for this very moment.
I thought he was specifically talking about maybe fixing his arm.
But he wants to do it biologically. He doesn't want to... Potentially he doesn't want to have some contraption, or maybe he didn't want alchemy that was Clint's making to be used for it.
Well, you wasted your time. I recognize the talent it required to synthesize, but I refuse to use it.
Why do you hate their alchemy so much? I know they used it to do terrible things in the past, but... Until a few decades ago, Empel was a renowned palace alchemist for the kingdom of Rotiswasser? Is it like Rotiswasser?
Rotswasser.
Rots. Okay, so it should be Rots rather than Rotes. Rotswasser? Or should I do it the German way, which would be Rotswasser.
Well, I mean, this game is fairly Germanic, so...
Mm-hmm. For the kingdom of Rotswasser. So it has to do something with water, because Wasser is water.
Lila.
But he defied the royal family. He joined a conspiracy that led to his arm being permanently damaged. The conspiracy leader was a fellow alchemist, one he trusted. They synthesized a powerful explosive. How awful!
They took advantage of my knowledge, and Anyway, it's all in the past, no need to revisit it.
Empel was banished from his home. He wandered in despair until he stumbled upon a gate. And me. When I told him about the crimes of the Clink Kingdom, it just about brought him to tears. He said to me, alchemists never seem to change. And do you remember what I said in response? You'd better not tell me you forget.
You said, what about you, alchemist?
That's right. And you swore that you would battle against the sins of all alchemists till the day you died. If you're still committed to that oath, you'll accept this tool. It wasn't born from the darkness you fear. It's a helping hand, created by a new brand of alchemist, one who wants to fill you with light.
But she still makes, like, really big bombs. It honestly scares me. Homeboy was wearing 4 layers. I just realized this.
Yeah, because he has his undershirt, a vest, an overcoat, and then his robe.
An overcoat. So you're asking me to stop observing and start doing things by myself again. It works perfectly. I feel as if I've grown an entirely new arm.
Aww. I think it's the first time we've actually seen him in painted form.
Yeah. I really like these illustrations. They're really cute.
I really like how...
I'll see if I can get a hold of them for the inevitable thumbnail for this series.
They're just... I'm trying to look at the technique that's used. Obviously digital. And it's definitely done with... Oh, there might be some overlays and such, but it's a very faint and painted line art that they've then...
It's a painted cell shade. Where they very clearly kind of have the cell shading.
It almost reminds me of the way Copic markers look if they're done really well.
Yeah. Oh, it really is a Copic style.
Yeah, pretty much a Copic style. You have to have a specific type of digital brush in order to replicate that.
Copic or acrylic?
Nah, acrylic would go on too thickly for this.
Not like the really heavily watered down acrylic?
But if you notice, there are darks close to the edges of the lights, which is why I'm getting the layered Copic effect from it.
I just had I had a classmate in high school whose painting technique was very similar to this, and it was incredible to look at, but he could never do anything creative because he never learned how to do anything from his head.
Yeah, there's always those caveats. There are the people that are really good at rendering, but they can only do it if they do it from a picture.
Also, Empel's hairdo is really stupid.
Yeah, he has the little ties, but they're made out of little gold bits.
I wasn't even thinking about that. I'm just thinking about his, like, weird center part that, like...
That he has some bangs, but they go over a section of hair that would have... It's weird. You know, anime hairdos are always going to be weird.
Confusing and impossible. Ryza, thank you. I never thought I would work side by side with another alchemist again. Also, I'm amazed your alchemy has improved enough to make me this hand. You're even greater than I realized.
I couldn't have done it without you, Empel. You taught me everything I know. I was only able to change and grow because the two of you came here.
I've been an aimless, cynical wanderer for so long. If I've given you some meaning, I'm glad. And you, Lila, you've always been so strict with me. You've never hesitated in kicking me into action.
She's a lot nicer when you're not around. She said something about helping to share his burden. I said nothing of the sort.
Thanks, both of you. With this gift you've given me, I may finally be able to contribute.
And Belle joined the party. Woo! That's fun. I really like this.
Mm-hmm.
See how Tao and Ryza are being instructed by Empel, and then Claudia was just happy to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Len's probably getting schooled by Lila.
Mm-hmm. Even if at this point he is pretty much just about as good.
Yeah, they never really did explain how his arm was injured.
Hold up.
All that we know is that they made a big explosive. Unless as part of his banishment they intentionally broke his arm. I've definitely seen it in works of fiction, where in addition to banishing someone, they either blind them or put a brand on them or injure a part of their body so that they always have a reminder of their crime or their act of treason or something.
Need more gunpowder. Alright, whatever.
So what role does he fill? Like, what does he do? You haven't attempted to add him to the party?
He's a support or some other things.
Okay. So he's a silver portrait.
Raisa, there you are.
Why are you freaking out?
We found out where the orb came from. Boss wants us all to meet up with him.
Oh, okay.
Is that a cannon? Yes. We're gonna progress a little bit so I can get some more materials, and then we're gonna go make some dumb things. Like the cannon. Specifically the cannon. Look what I found. This was hidden deep inside the storage room.
It's some kind of hand-drawn map. It doesn't look quite the same as ours, but hey, look!
Yeah, I noticed that. The map leads west to the main road, the Devil's Field. Wait, no, sorry, the wrong one. Yeah, I noticed that. The map leads west of the main road, the Devil's Field. Huh? What does this mean? This geographic detail is amazing. This isn't just a map, it's a travelogue.
Maybe the ancestor Barbados? I'm still guessing that Barbados found the orb. Or had helped steal it. Maybe they were affiliated with Clank Kingdom at one point. But isn't that area strictly forbidden? It is. The people in town have been taught never, ever to go there. We always took it as a given. And yet, it appears someone broke your town's taboo generations ago.
Then he brought it back, secreted it away, and used it to seize political power in a town in need. It seems the orb was hidden past the Devil's Field, through these ruins, and down in a small valley. That's one heck of an adventure. I have to admit, boss, I'm pretty jealous of your ancestors. I know what you mean.
But what's this symbol? By the basin beyond the valley.
I recognize that. It's the tower.
Oh,
oh, sorry.
It's the tower. The one to the north. That we can all see on a clear day. Oh, I see. Wait, so it's kind of like how if we're out on a clear day, we can see Mount Hood in the distance.
Mm-hmm.
We must depart right away. If we follow this route, we'll head west from the hill halfway down the road. The path is almost certainly not marked. We'll have to leave something behind to retrace our steps.
This is going to be incredibly dangerous, and you'll be violating your village's rules. Are you sure about this?
Of course! We can't afford to just sit idly by.
She's right. When time's finally come, my dream to reach the tower.
Yes. been wanting to see this tower for ages.
Mm-hmm.
And I also want to see that pavilion with the 4 pillars. Because they look like either seasons or elements.
Oh, this.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably Devil's Field.
Yeah. Ooh.
We might actually see all of the remaining zones in this game.
And then it's just a matter of gathering resources and going back.
Kind of
and
the
then
last couple plot things.
there might also be a final push to go through the underworld
You're
to
right,
stop the
you're right.
Fallujah
So there's
at their
probably more there.
source.
I'm probably underestimating how much is left.
Because we did not explore any of that kingdom. Wait, does he have a lollipop or a donut?
Mm-hmm.
He has
Why is he just like sexily holding a donut,
in his mouth? It'd be
Oh, Lila.
Mhm.
The come hither look and food. That's how he gets his...
mm. This place is so pretty. These ruins look strange.
Looks like some kind of altar, but I have no idea what it might have been used for.
Oh, could it have been a ritual like the one that Tao's family
Mm-hmm.
have? It's nice that everyone seems to be interconnected somehow. I think at this point only Claudia isn't connected in some way. Well, Lent isn't either, but he always wanted to go to the tower.
And technically Ryza?
Right. Raisa's along for the ride, but she's also the impetus for everything and helped
Mm-hmm.
make everything come together.
You don't think there could be monsters lurking nearby, do you? Lila, what do you think? Everything's really eroded, but...
Yeah, it's not just erosion. It looks like some kind of battle was fought here.
I think you're right. This place was attacked and torn to the ground. I guess I don't need to bother asking who might have done it or what. Let's keep going. We have a lot of ground to cover. Hard to say which way to go, but deeper in seems like our best bet. Come on.
Gold Pony!
Pony.
Big gold pony.
Boss Gold Pony.
Boss gold? Wait, the scarce altar. With a big pony. The shining pony. So it's more than just a gold pony.
It might actually be durable enough to put up a fight. For a while. Unfortunately, they're saying, like, lower enemy stats and boost my stats. Do I have items that do that? I have no idea.
Oh, watch out. It's building up power to the point where its facial features are sitting a couple of inches off its face.
I hope you
Whoa.
like spinning. Oh, that didn't kill it.
It's a little bit more.
There
Great.
we go. Godly Puni. Dead.
Ooh,
Wow,
what did
he
you
was
get?
worth cash.
Can we look in all the 4 directions just to see what each pillar looks like? Oh, right. You also have the individual character quests. There's so much to this game.
Yep. It looks like I have to keep Lila and Lent in the same party. And then go off and fight the special enemy types. Anyway, so...
Okay, so there's a crystally one, or rock.
Mm-hmm.
That one's the grassy one, or the verdant one. Why don't we go to each of them just to see what there is?
Well, I mean, we kind of want to just do like a circuit here.
Okay.
Oh. Spiderweb.
I like how there's jumping in this game.
It's mostly useless, but it's nice.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, these are colorful for the weasels.
Yep. They're ruined corruptors.
Oh.
That's a dark name for these things.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there's a lot to this game, and I really appreciate that. It's not just like straightforward.
They could have used more enemy models so that the ruined corruptors actually look like corruptors. But getting closer to filling out that monster guide.
Also, I missed it, but thank you, Sebastian Arboon, for the, what is that? 6-month resub. Thanks, super. I'm very tired. My thanks is tired. Still thanks.
Arbor Ivy. There's so many different kinds of thread. I always thought you could only make thread from silk.
Has a lot of tough logs.
And natural oil and such.
Yep, which we did need.
So, we never did go to the big rock on that side.
I'm just running a circuit around the whole place.
Okay, that's fine. So what's on this side?
That's the easiest way to do it.
Water.
Yep. It's a water pool. But
Can we go to the front of it just to see where the altar ends?
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the staircase just probably goes up to it.
Yeah. I mean, you didn't need to run into the weasels, but oh well.
Yeah, sort of. I don't know. But no, I was just gonna say, I wish more JRPGs had this level of depth in, like, the stuff that you can do kind of outside. Because oftentimes, like, with a JRPG, you switch out your equipment with whatever the, like, the newest town has.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of it.
Yeah, so nothing really more to it, so water.
And this one definitely feels like I have a lot more control. The only thing that feels kind of shallow about this, that I've experienced, the actual character attacks in the game are fairly small and limited.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Ryza's learned maybe a handful of new moves this entire game.
That one's flapping right towards you. A watcher.
Spear. There we go.
Yeah, at some point it would be nice if you switched to Empelin just to see what he does.
I need to make him some new equipment.
Yeah. That would do it. Now that seems to be a door elsewhere.
Yeah, I'm still gonna stick my head down it.
Dreamer Shore. Oh, we know this.
We do.
But there's a chest here.
Yeah.
That you couldn't access before. Quartz necklace.
Yeah, it's just one of those accessories. Which really, I think I actually have a couple.
We haven't really made many accessories though,
I've made a couple. It's just kind of one of those where it's not that necessary. We're so brokenly powerful at this point that, like...
Ooh, another gold pony.
Mm-hmm. That accessories themselves are not particularly... I'm not going to say not worth my time, but it's kind of like, I could make some. Or I can just kind of wait, gather resources, and eventually make some really, like, utterly broken ones towards the end. How do you wander? How are you? Busted. Oh, just tired, really.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out regular exercise is really good for you.
Ooh, gold uni.
Yep.
And silver uni.
I forgot you could smack those. Oops. I'm back. I'm back.
Yep, it's fleeing for its
I
life.
need to smack... Well... Atelier is the first gathering and crafting JRPG. It certainly is the first that actually, like, owns it. The only other one that I could think of would be, like, Star Ocean. Like, I remember Star Ocean Until the End of Time actually had a very, very substantive crafting system to it. But I didn't feel as good or as necessary. Like, it felt more fiddly. Same thing with Xenoblade.
This worked it in really well.
Yeah. Because I know in Xenoblade you could craft and customize your stuff, but it felt more like a chore than anything else.
There are so many games in which crafting seems tacked on and unnecessary because whatever gear you can acquire from loot is always going to be better than what you find.
Yeah, I always hate it where it's like, you got a recipe for that axe you already have, and it's like, yay? Like, Dragon Quest XI has that, where it's like, the best equipment has to be crafted, but 90% of the time, no, you're just kind of using whatever you find.
Whereas in this game, everything, you've had to craft all your weapons, right?
Yep. And as a result, I feel a lot more interested.
Because realistically, random monsters off in the wilderness aren't going to have daggers embedded in their bodies. Okay, maybe some of them would if they were large monsters. But I always found it odd that you would get gold and loot from creatures. Whereas if you wanted maybe some rare thing, yeah, maybe in a chest in a dungeon or something. But not out in the open world where there should be natural resources. And the only thing you should be getting from animals should be meat and scales and fur and such.
The other game that does it kind of well, that I would say, would be Monster Hunter. Because the weapon and equipment that you're, like, creating...
is from the monster parts.
Is from the monster parts and looks like it's from the monster parts.
Mm-hmm.
Which is really cool. Because, yeah, you could kill a Legiana after, like, a bunch. Your armor is going to look like Legiana stuff. And I thought that was really neat. It's still nowhere as deep as this, even though it actually had a pretty good, like, gear upgrading system via the gems that you could slot in.
Okay, so we just have one more to go to?
Yeah, I'm gonna go fight the gold.
Oh, because it respawned.
Yeah, it respawned. I realize kind of repetitive. However, the rewards off of this guy are pretty good. Also, I want to chuck a bomb in its face. Yeah, if you've noticed, we're just stuck on bagpipe music now. I don't know how it happened, but...
Yeah, so I'm wondering if it is dependent on who you have in your party. It'd be interesting to see if every character had a different instrument.
Because, yeah, it probably does coincide with us adding Lila to the party.
Right, so I was really wanting you to try different combinations to see if it changes the music.
I think I've actually used this. Oh, no, I haven't used that move. I just haven't used it recently. Let's see. When are you going to do the Monster Hunter World DLC? I would like to. I need a... So, I'm waiting for a response from Moose and Joe specifically.
They like Monster Hunter.
Yeah, and I was going to see if they would be interested in Monster Hunter World PC. Because...
Okay, so are we gonna go to the last stone?
Well, we did. We went to all of them.
Really? I don't know if we went to that one.
Yeah, that was the first one we went to.
That was the first one we went to?
Mm-hmm.
So there were 4?
Mm-hmm.
The other ones didn't really seem to be...
No, they were all kind of boring.
Yeah.
But they weren't...
Is this where we need to go?
Yeah.
Okay.
They weren't supposed to be that fancy. Let's see. Still hoping for a Fable Lost Chapters Let's Play. You'll get one. Maybe over the winter. It really depends on my timing.
There seem to be 2 paths. One up and through these ruins and one down in the canyon.
Come pretty far. We're practically climbing on the walls of the valley. Yeah. We've seen so many runes now, it almost doesn't feel special anymore. This must be part of a fortress.
A fortress? You mean, like some kind of castle?
Indeed. One designed to repel an invading force. It funnels the enemy into a narrow valley.
Yeah. Even I can tell some kind of battle was fought here. All this debris scattered around.
It's probably remnants of the Clint army. Whatever battle they fought here must have been fierce.
They were able to build something this big and strong, and they still got completely overrun. I wonder if there are any villages ahead of us that might have survived the Felucia invasion.
If there were, they would have made contact by now. And Boss's family records would have mentioned them. Either way, Ryza's right. Whatever it is we're seeking, we'll find it waiting in the tower ahead.
I'm not sure we're gonna like what we find, though. Of course, it's too late now.
Wanted to show what instruments do you like? I don't really play instruments.
Wander doesn't.
I play the computer.
I have too many. So, when I was little, probably the first instrument I ever touched was a piano. Because my grandmothers always had pianos, and then we eventually got a piano. So I love piano. Never actually got lessons for it, but whenever I want to compose music, I compose it on a piano. Because all the keys are laid out for you, and you can see where everything is. Okay. Oh, Mr. Goat! Look! He's being accosted by that giant pink crystal. Hey, Mr. Goat! What are you doing on that rock? Oh no, he's being attacked by a bunch of monsters and can't get away. I have to help him. He still insists that he is an otter. But, so other instruments. I did take violin lessons for several years and played it in the school orchestra. So I would have to say that the instrument that I'm most well versed in, technically, would probably be the violin. And then, let's see, recorders. I have 2 recorders. I have an alto recorder and a soprano recorder. That was back from it's required, at least in our school system, that every 4th grader learn how to use the recorder. I think it's just to instill, or maybe it was even before that, because they wanted to encourage kids to start taking up instruments in elementary school. And that was when you initially started doing orchestra or band at the very end of it. And then when you got on to the middle school, that's when you would keep on the instrument track. But they started everyone with recorders. Every kid in the school had to get a recorder and learn how to play it. And I liked it so much that I got a soprano recorder, even though the standard recorder was alto for everyone else. And I remember they had this guy come into the class, and he had pretty much...
That's actually super common in the US, just in general.
Yeah, because you had to do that too?
Yep. Yeah, we did a lot of recorder stuff.
But the guy came in, and he had the most enormous recorders. He had a recorder that was as tall as he was, and he was showing it off. I was impressed. That must have been a super bass recorder. I don't know how else to describe it. But, yeah, it could have been 3rd grade. I'm trying to remember what grade it was for me. But, so I have recorders. I have ocarinas. One is the transverse style and the other one's the pendant style. Pendant style is more difficult to play than transverse style because transverse style plays like a recorder or flute, where the more fingers you have on the holes, the lower it is, and then you just go up one at a time to go up the scale. But with a pendant recorder, you have fewer finger holds, or finger tabs, and you have to alternate which fingers you're using. It's kind of messy, but it's the only way you can have a super portable ocarina. And of course I got ocarinas because growing up, I play a lot of Ocarina of Time and I always wanted an ocarina. So, have some ocarinas. An instrument that I would love to get someday would be a theremin. I know they're weird, but if you've ever watched a 1950s science fiction film, that noise that you hear in the background for for music and such, it's the theremin. It's completely electronic, and you control it by how close your hands are to the device and such, and you alternate the pitch by its position. It's really cool. What are other ones? I like xylophones. I like... What is the... I think they call them the metal drums, where they're not so much drums, pan drums or something, where they have different notes. And you tap them on different sides. They almost look like turtle shells.
I'm totally blanking on the name.
Yeah, I wondered, you always had a piano in your house too.
Yeah, but my mother is not a very good teacher.
So she was probably more stringent on form and such, and then you didn't actually get to have much fun with the piano then.
Well, how do I describe it? It was less about, hey, learning piano is fun, you know, why don't you give it a go? With my mother, when I was a kid at least, it was less about nurture and much more about mandate. And it wasn't that I hated the piano, it's that I wasn't enjoying myself and she wasn't making it enjoyable.
So how did your brother get into flute then?
My brother got into flute because bands in middle school. He took a band class and decided to get into flute for some reason. I actually have never asked him why specifically the flute.
I know, because in flute, well, in every band I've ever seen, the majority of the flautists, is that how you pronounce it?
Mm-hmm.
Are women. It's interesting. Not to say that a flute couldn't also be played by a man.
Well, I think that was actually kind of
why he chose to...
maybe part of it, but like, he definitely stood out as a result. And he was really good, comparatively, because he actually cared, which was apparently kind of interesting, because in that middle school system specifically, there were competitions. Like, weekly competitions to see, like, hey, who will be the, you know, the first chair, second chair, whatever. And he could never beat the first chair, but nobody could beat him, so he was the permanent thwomp of the flute section in that middle school. And I think he really enjoyed that. It challenged him.
One of my friends, she was always able to get first chair for violin, which is pretty impressive because a violin was the most, I would say, numerous instrument in the orchestra, but then you had violas, you had cellos, and cellos were typically, okay, so violins you'd probably have about 20. Violas you'd probably have about 10 to 15. Maybe even 10. Yeah, I'm getting the proportions wrong. You had, I believe, 4 to 6 cellos, typically. And then there would be 2 basses, and then it always seemed like we had only 1 or 2 harps. I had always wanted to play harp as a kid, but because they only ever limited to 1 or 2 harps in the orchestra, there was never any opening. There were never any openings for a new harp student. And as a prerequisite, you always had to take a lot of piano lessons before you could take harp. I'd like to restring that harp and learn how to play it. Your mom gave us one, but it's back with my parents.